Can I go? Yes, there are quite a few. The strongest similarity I think that we share would be our sense of humor. He gets that from me. However, his dress sense, his mannerisms, and everything else about him is his own identity. So yeah, I think I'm also quite friendly, quite down to earth, just like him. But the strongest would be our sense of humor. It's a good question. Thank you. I think, well, firstly, um, it's not based on anyone in particular that I know of, Prada. I think it's really good to play such a challenging character and give him the identity and a life of his own. Um, the director doesn't have a lot of input when it comes to the character. The one thing about Isdingo is that the directors and the writers trust the actors to find and create and get involved with their own character. They just do the blocking of the scene. It's, if I could go back, if I had a choice to play Prada a different way, perhaps if he to play him, to choose him not being gay, I wouldn't change a thing. I think that he's grown into his own skin now, and he's got a strong following. So I'm glad with the way he turned out, and I'm glad I could be a part of his upbringing. Kids, no, not yet, not yet. I think I'm a family man. I really love kids. Every time we go to families or relatives' house, I play with my nieces and nephews. So no kids at the moment, but I'm hoping to start a family maybe in the next 3 to 5 years. It's all about career and spending some quality time with the wife now. Wow. Okay, I'm not too sure if you mean on the show or on Earth, but I'll answer both. If it was my last day on the show, what would I do that I really love? Um, sure, that's a tough one. Well, I don't know well, personally, behind the scenes, I think I just go and, pay my respect to everyone and thank them for having me on the show. Um, in character, I'd play pranks probably, and I'd cry and tell everybody how much I love them and that I'm gonna miss them. And if it was my last day on Earth, I just want to spend it with family, with the people that I love, friends and family, just having a good time, and you'd want to go out laughing and smiling. So I hope that answers your question. Um, wow, that is a really good question. When we first got married, I didn't really feel a change because when we were going out, we've been going out for 4 years, some change before we got married. So the change was not immediate. However, as I get more mature into the marriage, as time passes, the reason, it becomes more evident. I think it's really grounding to know that I have someone that I can count on, someone who's there to give me advice. If I'm not feeling well, there's someone there to take care of me. It's a start of my very own family now. So in that aspect, it's good. It's good to know that I have someone to grow old with. Has it affected my career? Not in the least. If anything, it's made it stronger. It's good in the sense because she's always been there from the very start, even when we were going out with, when Prada was coming into his own. I could turn to advice for her. I could ask her, "What do you think? How do you think I should play this? How do you think this scene should go down and whatnot?" And even now, she still gives me advice and tells me, "Okay, that's good. That's not good. That's good. That's not good." So, in all aspects, it's positive. I get asked that question a lot, hey? The truth is, if I had scenes with another guy, if I were to kiss another guy, how would I feel and would I do it? Yes, I would do it, and I'd feel perfectly fine about it. The reason being, when you get into this industry as an actor, um, you use your body as a tool. Similarly, it's like asking a plumber, if you had this were faced with this problem, would you use your favorite spanner, the special spanner that's never been used? And the answer is yes, because that's these tools. He has to do it. So I think, to be fair to the character, I would, and I can't be involved personally and make decisions that would affect my life personally, because Prana has an identity of his own, and if anything, he's bigger than I am. So it would be unfair for me to withhold myself back, or emotionally or physically for that matter, to the character. So if I was given, if the opportunity does arise, I would be invested in it 110%. Gay friends, yes, I do. I do actually have a few gay friends, and I've got a lot of fans on Facebook as well. No one has really given me advice on how to portray Prada, although I have had a lot of compliments from them, on Prada, on the way that I do Prada, on the justice that I do the role, which is a very, very high honor, to be paid that compliment. So I am grateful that he is well received by the gay community. What kind of a person am I? I'm shy. I like to think I'm funny and down to earth and grounded. I'm a family guy. I like staying at home, watching movies. I think all around, I just, I try to be as nice as I possibly can be. Okay. Oh, and I don't drink and I don't smoke, never have, and I don't do drugs. So, don't do drugs, kids. It's bad. Stay in school. The accent thing. That's a very good question. Thank you, thank you. Well, first off, I think, in this country, there's a lot of stereotypes, and it's not restricted to just one race, or gender, or religion, or whatever. It's across the board, and I think in order to grow, we need to come above that, and that's what I've tried to do. I didn't want to make the character stereotypical, nor the fact that I'm Indian stereotypical. So I don't do the accent, and I don't do a Prada's not as camp as one might perceive him to. If they haven't seen a gay character, they might think, oh, when I think of a gay character, this is what I think. Limp-wristed and so on and so forth. He's none of that. So the challenging thing about Isadingo is, I think we have some of the country's best actors. In fact, I think that's a pretty well-known fact. I mean, you've got the likes of Robert Whitehead and Jack Devnarayan and Vusi Kanene and Michelle Puertas, and I could go on and on. So it's you've constantly got to bring your A game. You can't drop the ball. You can't relax and say, "Oh, I'll take it easy for this day." It's because they bring they're such high caliber actors that you always find yourself challenging yourself to be the best that you can be, and that's one of the best things about being on such a prestigious show. You're always polishing and maintaining and trying to go further than you can. Who is my role model and what makes me mad? Okay, well, role model. I'm tempted to say someone like Nelson Mandela, or Gandhi, or Barack Obama or something. But truthfully, I don't really have a specific role model. I think, in general, if I see someone doing a kind act, if it be it a young man helping the elderly across the road, or someone helping, to pack packets in a boot for someone else that they don't know. I think just random acts of kindness. I find that really inspiring when I see people do that, and I aspire to be like that. So it doesn't necessarily have to be someone who's made a huge sacrifice historically, like Mandela and Gandhi and so forth. I find role models in your everyday people, and I hope that I can be a role model to people, um, who's looking for a role model. So I tend to do those things, kind, uh, random acts of kindness. What makes me mad? Not much, hey. I adapt really easily. I don't think that I've ever been too upset where I throw my toys out the cot. I haven't reached that point yet. I'm trying to think, but nothing comes to mind. I've got a very high tolerance level, so I don't get mad too easily. What do I think of gay people? I think they're awesome. You know, I think that they've got a culture of their own and they believe in it, and they should be respected for it. And I respect them, and I think they're awesome. Married life. Married life is awesome, if I'm honest. Well, the thing is, truthfully, I've never been like too much of an outgoing guy, too much of going to the clubs and events and social this and social that. I'm a very homely guy, like I've said. So, marriage works for me. It's good to come home to someone that loves and appreciates you. It's good to come home to a nice meal because she's a wonderful cook. It's good just knowing that you have a partner, that you can trust and go to when you need to. So, in a word, it's great. I've had a very small role in a film called Algiers, where I played a detective. It was a very little speaking role, and I really enjoyed being on a film set. The goal is film. There are things that are in process. I'm writing scripts for film. My friend Sipo, who's behind the scenes in Isadingo for now, him and I bounce around ideas, and we've got many stories that we need to brainstorm and put to paper. So I would like to be in film. However, I think it's difficult to just pin it down to one type of film or one type of character, because I don't want to limit myself as an actor. I'd like to be in all sorts of roles, various things, comedy, drama, action, thriller, horror, so on and so forth. So yeah, stay tuned, and if I do get a chance to do films, if I'm one of the privileged actors that get to do films, please, I hope I get your support. A nice compliment. Thank you. It is. It is. Well, Firstly, I think I've got to give a big up to the makeup department. They make me look like this. So thank you. And how do I keep my skin so smooth and soft? I don't know. It could be a healthy diet. Could be all the pinching cheeks, from my grandmother when I was young. My wife, whenever she needs to try out a new product, I'm the lab rat, I'm the test dummy, so I've got to try it out for her, and she's like, over 3 weeks, yeah, it looks good, I think I'll try it. But overall, I think it's just a healthy diet, and you just look after yourself, stay away from bad things, or be hygienic, wash your face regularly, so on and so forth. So yeah. That is a good one. Yes and no. Like I said earlier, my character is much more popular than I am. It affects my real life in the sense that when I do go out in public, I mean, it doesn't really happen often, and not in the thousands, but there are a few people that come up and they pay me a compliment or two, and they call me Prada because nobody knows I'm Ashish. So in that sense, yes, it does affect my life because in this career you can't leave work at work, because we share the same face. Prada is always with me. Maybe not mannerisms, but the look is always there, So wherever I go, I take him with, and I think I'm always welcoming people whenever they come up to pay respects to the character or pay a compliment to take a picture, for whatever reason, because I think that's the people that I work for. The audience is the people that I work for, because if they don't watch, if they don't appreciate the character, then I'm not doing justice to the role. So yeah, in that aspect, it does affect my life. Um, well, by no, I think, to elaborate, it doesn't have a negative influence on my life. It's all positive. So yeah, and I'm really honored and glad that he is so appreciated and loved. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Which part of acting do I think is the worst? Learning lines, because geez, that's the toughest, eh? Um, you know, it's a really, really, absolutely fun job, and I encourage anyone that wants to get into the industry to persevere and just be persistent and work hard, because it really is an absolutely fun industry to be in, and it's a fun job. There are certain difficult aspects. Learning lines. It's one of them. It's not the hardest. I think being being an actor, most challenging thing is when you have to do an emotional scene, because you get different style of actings. I'm trained in method acting. You have to dig deep within, and depending on what the scene may call for, sometimes you have to go in a very dark place and think about very dark times in your life to internalize it so that the scene becomes real. And it's tough. It's tough on the mind. It's tough on the body when you have to do that constantly. When you have to think about your past experiences, losing people, losing loved ones. To go there, and when you do think about that, it's very difficult to switch off that. But as you go on, as you as you keep persisting in the industry, you get to a stage of the veteran actors like Robert Whitehead and Lucy Kinene and Jack Devon Ryan and everyone else, where you can just switch it on and off. I think I'm at a stage now in my career where Prada hasn't been exposed to heavy emotional stuff, so I've been able to switch him on and off at the click of a finger. But hopefully there will come a time when you see Prada in more challenging situations, and you get to see a side of him that you haven't seen. So that's difficult in acting, when you need to be emotional. It's not a switch that you can just switch on and off at will. So that's the toughest. Hi everybody, my name is Ashish Gangapasad and I play Prada on Izzadingo. I just want to send a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart to all of you that have posted questions on the Facebook page. I really, really appreciate your support and your kind words, and some of you are just way too generous, but thank you. The reason I do everything that I do is for all of you. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank you.